every year we are gifted with two eclipse seasons that work, interwoven in conjunction with each other. For instance, this year in May 2022, we had a solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus. And on the 25th of October, as I mentioned before, we are having a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio. So the way eclipses work is they work with our north node and south node that can be found in our astrology chart. But also they work as well with the ear, the ear's nodes and south nodes. Hence why they work in conjunction, because the north node and the south node, they are always opposite each other. They are the signs that are opposite each other in the astrological wheel. So to work on one, you will have to work on the other, per se. So, for instance, in May 2022, when we had the solar eclipse, it was under the sign of Taurus. The opposition here is the sign of Scorpio, which is the next lunar eclipse that we are going to have, that is coming on the 25th of October. So they work with each other. But I will explain a little bit about how the South Node and North Node affect us both individually, but also as a collective. Individually, we all have a North Node and a South Node in our natal charts. The North Node represents the energies you are here to embrace, that you are here to understand in this incarnation. The gifts, the qualities, the skills that you are here to understand and to embody. These skills, these qualities, these gifts often feel a bit foreigner. And they persist in showing up in your path over and over again until you pay attention. Because hidden in these skills and qualities and things that we are meant to embody are karmic lessons that we are meant to learn, that we are meant to process and to embody in this incarnation. The South Node represents the energies that you were born with. It's kind of our comfort zone. The lessons that we learn from past lifetimes, past lives that we had at the soul level. And because they were learned lessons, they feel very familiar in this lifetime. They feel that they are the programming, per se, that we go back to every time that we feel challenged, because it feels familiar and it feels safe. It's what we know. And these include like behaviors, cycles, thoughts, and beliefs that we always tend to go back to when we are triggered. These energies, both the ones that we are meant to release from our south node and the ones that we are meant to embrace as part of our north node, both these energies are important for us to take on our soul's evolutionary path and break the karmic cords. That's why this eclipse season, it's an amazing opportunity to work on our soul's path, our soul healing, because it really sheds light on a lot of things that we tend to turn away from. So this lifetime, it is our work to shift the energies from the South Node, our comfort zone, our familiar zone, the things that we tend to go back to, the behaviors, beliefs, thoughts that we tend to go back to because they represent what we know, to the energies of the North Node, which are the gifts and the lessons that we are here to embrace. And that will help our soul to move quicker into the karmic lessons that it is meant to learn. That's why our soul chose these challenges before it incarnated. So we learn these lessons and we speed up, per se, the healing, the karmic healing. So our soul can break free, for the other lifetimes that will come. But also collectively, we also have lessons to work with. So in this instance, the North Node represents the energies that, as a collective, we are ready to embody. The things that we are awakening to. And the South Node highlights what, as a collective, we are ready to release, because we've noticed that is outdated, is no longer serving the highest good of the collective, of our humankind. Going back to the eclipses that we have and had in 2022. So, as I mentioned before, we had a solar eclipse in Taurus, which represents our collective North Node. And now we have a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, which represents our collective South Node. So eclipse seasons not only affect us on an individual level with our own nodes, lunar nodes, and the lessons that we are here to embody, to learn, and to release, but also affects the lessons as a society. That's why it feels so overwhelming. So the North Node in Taurus, as a collective, we were asked to become more grounded, to connect with nature and with the cycles of Mother Earth, to tune in with what actually brings us calm, what actually brings us peace, and do things that connect us more and more with our bodies. Now, the South Node in Scorpio will invite us as a society, as a collective, to leave behind chaos and traumatizing behaviors. Throughout the 18 months that the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio will be activated, we are being given the opportunity to heal the collective by recognizing the social, religious, political trauma and programming, and by committing to working on ourselves individually in order to understand, in order to process, And in order to heal the individual traumas that each one of us has that have been inflicted by the social programming, by the social trauma, because we are all one. What happens to one person happens to the collective. That's why I always say that when you heal yourself, you help to heal the world, because it has this ripple effect that affects the collective. So the eclipse season will highlight that our own individual traumas that have been inflicted by the collective traumas. But by healing those traumas individually, we are helping to heal the collective. So, in this sense, eclipses simply activate and highlight these energies from the lunar nodes, the north nodes and the south node, in order to set us on our soul's path, both individually and as a collective. So I like to see this, I would like to invite you to see this as a period of change, of opportunity. I know it will feel overwhelming, and we tend to, when it's eclipse season or Mercury retrograde, we tend to look only into the chaos that will bring into our lives. But I would like to invite you to look into this period of change as an opportunity to look into the stagnant energies that are in your life. What are the comfort zones and the areas that you keep going back to because it feels familiar? But also, what are the changes that you are resisting to embody? Because eclipses encourage us to change the way we see the world, both our inner world, our emotions, our sense of safety, our instincts, and also how we contribute to the world, our sense of self, our identity, the roles we play, our ego. During this eclipse season, you might feel a bit overwhelmed, tired, irritable. I had some people telling me that they feeling actually physical symptoms as well, like migraines and headaches, because of all the pressure and the negative, per se, vibrations that are coming up because of the activating trauma response in which one of us, even that is in an unconscious way, even that you're not consciously relating that you are having a trauma response, that you've been triggered and then you have that stress response. It's actually happening on a conscious level and brings up all these physical symptoms, as well as feeling overwhelmed, feeling stressed, irritable, uneasy. So you might be feeling that way. But if you haven't yet, over the coming days, as we approach the initiation of this solar eclipse, you might start feeling these symptoms. During this time, try and notice any drama, any fear, any chaos that's going on around you, and also what areas of your life that this fear and chaos and drama are being heightened. And then notice the thoughts and beliefs and patterns of behavior that you tend to always go back to when you feel triggered, when you feel that these energies are being activated. And then try to work on your north node, which is like all the positive qualities and skills and things that you are meant to embody. Try to work on it and find a way to ground yourself, to embody those qualities that will help you to release the fear and the familiar programming of the South Node and move your soul into the path that it's here in this lifetime to take. Also, try and notice any attachments, and try and work on understanding the root of your feelings, and work on detaching from that energy and try to alchemize it into something greater. Because I believe pain is a blessing in disguise. Every time we feel pains being triggered, or things that trigger our trauma response, although it might feel very overwhelming, and it feels very overwhelming and painful, the other side of the coin is the transformation, is how we can alchemize it into a greater lesson that will help us moving forward. So try and see what are these these thoughts and attachments that you might feeling from an energetic and emotional level, and then how you can alchemize it, how you can transform it into something greater, into something that is like gold, a golden lesson. Your star sign also reveals some areas that can potentially be activating during this time. But for a deeper understanding, I totally recommend that you check your natal charts for your North Node and your South Node, which is always the opposite sign, as I said in the beginning, and see how this eclipse season might be highlighting the shadows, but also shedding light on the lessons that you are here to embrace. But at a glance, I will tell you what are the areas for your star sign, like at a glance. But then again, if you want to go deeper, check your North and South nodes. So if you are in the star sign of Aries, consider your future aspirations and the possibilities presented to you. If you're born under the sign of Taurus, release dated ways of thinking and feeling that are not serving you and create space for solitude. Try to retract from the world and be by yourself just so you can process all the information. If you were born under the sign of Gemini, it is time to birth a new version of you and a new vision for your life. If you were born under the sign of Cancer, it is time to reevaluate your finances and your values by tuning with your intuition. If you're born under the sign of Leo, it is time to prioritize communication and heart-centered connections with your loved ones. If you were born under the sign of Virgo, it is time to put both houses, both physical and mental, in order. Try and tidy up both your physical space, but also your mental space. Tidy up from it, put it in order to help you to move forward. If you were born under the sign of Libra, like I am, love and romance are being heightened. So try and prioritize play and pleasure during this time. If you're born under the sign of Scorpio, focus on your health and your well-being, because it will help you to become more confident in yourself. If you were born under the sign of Sagittarius, focus on partnerships. Be the initiator. Initiate conversations and engagement with people that will lead into partnerships, both in terms of career and as, relationships, like personal relationships in your life. If you were born under the sign of Capricorn, embrace growth and change. Make a plan to help you move forward. If you were born under the signs of Aquarius, chase adventure. It is time to explore the world around you and to seek fulfillment that is really meaningful to you, really grounded. Lastly, if you were born under the sign of Pisces, it is time to put yourself out there, especially in your career. This is your sign. I would like to note that if you were born under the sign of Taurus or Scorpio, because it's the collective North Node and South Node, pay extra attention during this time, because you are more sensitive to these energies and you're more likely to be affected by these eclipse energies, okay? Working with your South Node and your North Node and taking these eclipse season as an opportunity to work on your healing, healing your karmic lessons, cutting the karmic cords, and embodying what you are meant to do in this lifetime. The qualities, the gifts, the talents, the lessons that you were meant to embody and embrace in this lifetime with your North Node. Taking this opportunity to work on that will help you to stay on your soul's path, to conquer, your soul's mission, and expand as well. In a soul level, expand your soul's growth, because ultimately, that is our mission as human beings. Our soul chose to be here in this lifetime and chose everything from the body you were born with, from the family that you were born with, the location that you were planted. Everything has been chosen and specifically planned by your soul to help your soul learn the lessons that the soul decided that wants to learn, to heal the karma. So it's our mission as human beings to understand that and to help our souls really to heal, grow, expand, and move forward. So for the next, incarnations, we don't drag still the same lessons, the same karmic wounds with us and with the collective, because again, we are here as well to heal the society, heal the collective. And when we heal ourselves, we help to heal our ancestors, our soul karma, but also our future generations and the ripple effect that it has in the collective. One way of working with that is by using soul inquiries that will really prompt you to be curious, to ask questions, to live in the question of trying to understand who you truly are in your essence. And doing that, analyzing your self node is understanding who you are at a soul level. What happened before? What were the lessons that you had before? And how can you now are embodying it just by looking in what it looks familiar to you, in what are the behaviors and ways of thinking that you keep going back to because it is what you know. And understanding and learning about your North Node will give you insights of talents and qualities and gifts that you were born with, but you might be hiding it as your shadow calling, because maybe you grew up hearing that it was too much, that you shouldn't be like that. And you learn to hide those talents. You learn not to embrace them. But you were born with it for a reason. It is needed for a reason. So living in this questioning, living in the questions of asking for things that will prompt you to understand who you truly are at a soul level and what is your mission in this lifetime, will help you heal so much, will help you free yourself from not only the karmic lessons and the karmic wounds, because that it might be unconscious. What that karmic wound will translate and that you are conscious about is that you feel in a certain way, you are triggered by certain behaviors, there are certain patterns and cycles that keep repeating in your life, but you don't understand why. You know it happens, but you don't understand why that happens. And by using soul inquiries that will help you ask questions that will give you insights and answers about it, will help you understand yourself, will help you understand who you are, what you are meant to be doing here in this lifetime, and how you can help your soul to heal and expand and live in a happier life, more free from this constriction, from this programming. That's what we want. We all want. The trust journaling deck that's right there will help you with that. It takes you on this journey, a 5-step, 5-pathway journey that will help you to understand that past, go into the south node, and then move into your north node, move into who you are in your potential, in your higher self, who you always been. The pre-orders close tonight at midnight UK time. Is the last chance to get this deck in time for Christmas. I will place orders on Monday, and yeah, it closes in midnight. I will leave the link in the description. So if you feel called to do this healing and start 2023 with a new energy, with the intention to heal yourself and heal the generations to come and heal the collective and feel more free and more happier, if you feel called to it, get that deck because it will help you so much.